Hey there! Great news just dropped that's going to impact millions of Americans' wallets in 2026. And it's way bigger than anyone expected. Social Security recipients. You'll want to hear this. The official 2026 COLA numbers are in, and they're sending shockwaves through the financial world. We're talking about a raise that's going to put significantly more money in your pocket every single month. But here's the thing, there's a surprising twist to these numbers that nobody saw coming, and it could mean thousands of extra dollars for you next year. The calculations have been confirmed, but what's really turning heads is how this increase compares to what experts predicted just months ago. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what this means for your monthly checks, show you how to calculate your new amount, and reveal some insider strategies that could help you maximize these benefits. Trust me, you won't want to miss what I'm about to share, especially the game-changing detail at the 4-minute mark. Before we dive into these incredible numbers, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and you'll be the first to know when. The official announcement just came in. Social Security beneficiaries will see a 3.9% COLA increase in 2026, significantly higher than the 3.1% many analysts were projecting earlier this year. Now, I know what you're thinking, that might not sound like a huge difference, but let me show you why this is actually massive news for your monthly budget. For the average Social Security recipient currently receiving $2,000 monthly, this means you'll be getting an additional $78 every single month, or $936 more per year. But here's where it gets really interesting. If you're receiving both Social Security and Supplemental Security Income, SSI, your increase could be even more substantial. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time you got a raise this significant on your fixed income? The 2026 COLA isn't just another routine adjustment, it's a reflection of some major changes happening in our economy. And while many feared we might see a much smaller increase, similar to the modest 2025 adjustment, this new rate actually puts more buying power back in seniors' hands during a time when every dollar counts. Let me break down exactly how this is going to affect different categories of beneficiaries. If you're receiving the maximum Social Security benefit, currently at $4,873 per month, you're looking at an increase of about $190 monthly, pushing your annual benefit up by nearly $2,280. For couples where both partners receive benefits, the impact is even more substantial. We're talking about potentially thousands of dollars in additional household income next year. But here's something crucial that most people don't realize. The timing of when you start receiving these increased payments matters more than you might think. The new payment amounts will begin with benefits payable to more than 71 million Americans in January 2026. However, for the 7.5 million SSI recipients, there's a special timing quirk you need to know about. You'll actually start seeing your increased payments in late December 2025. This is because of a specific rule that moves payments forward when the regular payment date falls on a weekend or holiday. Now, let's talk about Medicare, because this is where things get really interesting for 2026. Unlike previous years, where Medicare premium increases often ate up a significant portion of the COLA raise, 2026 is showing a different pattern. The standard Medicare Part B premium for 2026 is seeing only a modest increase, which means you'll get to keep more of your COLA raise than in recent years. This is huge news for beneficiaries who've watched their COLA increases get diminished by rising healthcare costs. Here's something that might surprise you. This 3.9% increase actually has some hidden advantages that aren't immediately obvious. While it's lower than the massive 8.7% increase we saw in 2023, it's actually better aligned with current inflation rates, which means your purchasing power should remain more stable. Remember, the goal of COLA isn't just to give you more money, it's to ensure your benefits keep pace with the real cost of living. Let me share a quick personal story that illustrates why this matters so much. Last week, I was talking to one of my viewers, Martha, who's been receiving Social Security for the past decade. She told me how previous COLA increases sometimes felt like they weren't enough to keep up with her rising expenses. But when I showed her how to calculate her new 2026 benefit amount and explained the Medicare premium situation, her whole perspective changed. She realized she'd actually be coming out ahead in real terms for the first time in several years. Now, you might be wondering how exactly to calculate your new benefit amount. Don't worry, I'm going to make this super simple. Take your current monthly benefit amount and multiply it by 1,039. That's it. That's your new monthly payment starting in January 2026. For example, if you're currently receiving $1,800 per month, your new monthly benefit will be $1,870. That's an extra $70 every month that you can count on. But here's where I want you to pay close attention, because this next part could make a real difference in your financial planning. The 2026 COLA increase isn't just about the direct raise to your monthly benefits. It's also affecting other important Social Security thresholds and limits. The earnings test limit is being adjusted upward, which means if you're working while receiving benefits before full retirement age, you can earn more without having your benefits reduced. Something that's not getting enough attention in the media is how this COLA increase affects different age groups differently. For instance, if you haven't started taking your benefits yet and you're planning to wait until age 70, this COLA increase will be calculated into your future maximum benefit amount. This is particularly important for those of you in your early 60s who are still planning your retirement strategy. Let's talk about something that might be keeping you up at night: inflation. I know many of you are concerned about whether this 3.9% increase will be enough to keep up with rising prices. Here's the reality: while inflation has been moderating, it's still important to have a strategy for maximizing your benefits. This is where smart planning comes into play, and I'm going to share 3 specific strategies that could help you make the most of this increase. First, consider how this COLA might affect your tax situation. If the increase pushes your total income into a higher tax bracket, you might want to consult with a tax professional about strategies to manage your taxable income. Second, this might be a good time to review your Medicare coverage options during the open enrollment period, as the relationship between your new benefit amount and your healthcare costs could have changed. Third, if you're receiving both Social Security and a pension, check whether your pension has any coordination of benefits provisions that might be affected by this increase. Here's something fascinating that most people don't realize: the way the COLA is calculated has actually evolved over time. The current formula, based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPIW, has been in place since 1975, but there's ongoing debate about whether this is the best measure for retirees' actual costs. Some experts argue that a different index, the CPIE, Consumer Price Index for the elderly, would better reflect seniors' spending patterns, particularly when it comes to healthcare and housing costs. Let me share another real-world example that shows why this matters. One of my viewers, Bob, reached out to me last month worried about how he'd manage his increasing expenses. When I explained how the 2026 COLA would affect his specific situation, including the Medicare premium changes, he realized he'd be getting an extra $1,100 over the year. That might not sound like a life-changing amount, but as Bob told me, it's enough to cover his increased property taxes and still have some left over for his grandkids' birthday presents. Now, I want to address something that's causing some confusion online. You might have seen posts claiming that this COLA increase will deplete Social Security's trust funds faster. Let me clear this up. COLA increases are already built into Social Security's long-term financial projections. This 3.9% increase isn't going to significantly impact the program's long-term sustainability one way or the other. What's more important is understanding how to make the most of the increase you're getting. Here's an interesting perspective to consider. While we're focusing on the national average of 3.9%, the actual impact on your purchasing power can vary significantly depending on where you live. Someone in a high-cost urban area might feel this increase differently than someone in a rural community with lower living costs. This is why it's so important to look at your specific situation rather than just the national averages. Let's talk about timing for a moment, because this is crucial for planning purposes. The Social Security Administration will be sending out notices in December 2025 detailing your new benefit amount. But don't wait for that notice to start planning. You can use the simple calculation method I shared earlier to figure out your new amount and start adjusting your budget now. This kind of proactive planning can make a real difference in how effectively you use your increased benefits. Something that often gets overlooked in discussions about COLA is how it affects different types of Social Security benefits differently. It's not just retirement benefits that are increasing. Disability benefits, survivor benefits, and SSI payments are all getting the same percentage increase. This means millions of Americans under retirement age who receive these benefits will also see their monthly payments go up. Now, let me share something that might surprise you about how COLAs have changed over time. In the early days of Social Security, benefit increases had to be approved by Congress. It wasn't until 1975 that we got the automatic annual adjustments we have today. Understanding this history helps us appreciate why these automatic adjustments are so important for maintaining beneficiaries' purchasing power. I want to circle back to Medicare for a moment because there's an important detail we need to discuss. While the Part B premium increase for 2026 is relatively modest, there are some changes to Medicare Advantage plans and Part D prescription drug coverage that you'll want to factor into your overall financial planning. The good news is that with this COLA increase, most beneficiaries will still come out ahead even after accounting for these healthcare cost changes. As we wrap up this discussion about the 2026 COLA increase, let me emphasize a few key points. This 3.9% raise is more than just a number, it's real money that will help real people manage their daily expenses. Whether you're using it to offset rising costs, add to your savings, or simply maintain your current standard of living, this increase is going to make a difference in your monthly budget. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this COLA increase. How will it affect your budget? What are you planning to do with the extra money? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It helps more people find this important information, and you'll stay updated on all the latest Social Security news and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.